Welcome to episode 1 of the ValleyRTC podcast. We got your host. I'm Coach Silva, and I'm here with Coach Steiner, head wrestling coach at Fresno State.
Yeah, it's great to be here and excited to get this thing going. We've been here in the Valley now for about a year and into our first season here with the Bulldogs.
So kind of what we want to do is kind of bring our fan base and our audience a little bit closer to Fresno State Wrestling and our Valley Regional Training Center. So we will be doing weekly podcasts, bi-weekly podcasts, kind of to keep our fans and our community informed and engaged on what we're doing here with wrestling and in the Valley. First, I'd like to thank one of our sponsors, Glepler Digital Media Group. They're providing this podcast and will help us guide us through providing content with you guys. First, we'd like to talk to Coach Steiner and kind of just recap what's been going on. The guys have reported here in August. Preseason got underway, and kind of talk to us about what happened once the guys got here on campus.
Yeah, it was the first time we kind of got the guys together this summer. It was kind of with our camps this summer at Fresno State, and it was a chance for us to get to work with them a little bit. And then we gave them a little break before school actually started. But once school started, we got back in and got all our compliance work done and all our physicals, and then we went to work. We started our preseason and had about a 6-week session of our preseason, and then we dove into the season early November. So it's and since then it goes quick. Once the season starts, it seems like things roll pretty fast. But we got a good group of guys right now, and we've taken some tough losses for sure, but we just gotta really learn and as we go here and make adjustments as we go.
So we started the season. We went up to San Francisco and kind of wanted to see where our guys were. So we went and competed against San Francisco State, a great Division II program here in the state of California. We wanted to make sure we went up there and kind of supported them, and we had a good Division II team. Nebraska Kearney also came in. They've won multiple Division II national titles. Kind of talk to us about our performance up there.
Yeah, I think we performed pretty well, against San Francisco State, which is now led by Jason Welch, national runner-up for Northwestern, and is now back in his home state of California and leading the Gators up there at San Francisco. And I thought we performed pretty well. We came out pretty aggressive in that match for the most part and put a lot of points on the board, and it was really good. And then we had a match right away. We backed it up against Nebraska Kearney, and I don't know if we really reset and mentally and really got ready for the next match. And it was a tough, hard-fought match, and we had opportunities to win a few matches that we let go, but I think still we performed pretty well. But we were giving up a forfeit at that time because we had Sean Williams was still not back in the lineup, so we gave up a forfeit at 25, and it ended up costing us the duel. But the performance wasn't too bad, but it was definitely something we learned from and then moved on.
Well, I know there was a lot of buzz, since I took the job about a year and a half ago, and when you took the job. That very first home match that we had in the St. Mart Center had to be a big one. We had to make sure we got the right opponent, and we got University of Illinois, Big Ten opponent, ranked top 15 in the country, but they also had somebody in their lineup from the Valley. Kind of talk about why we chose Illinois to come in and be our first match November 17th.
Well, we were looking at a big opponent, Big Ten or a Big 12 opponent that could come in here and help us get the draw that we wanted, and I think we picked Illinois for that reason. I mean, for one, there's been a lot of Valley kids that have went to Illinois, starting with the Terrapellis. You had them, and then you have Isaiah Martinez, who's there now as a 3-time finalist, 2-time champ, and going into his senior year, was one of the best in the country, if not the best in the country right now. So we knew he was going to draw a lot, help us draw, but it was just a good opponent to bring in here for our first match, and I thought we stepped up and competed pretty well against him for our first time out against a Division I opponent. I thought we stepped up and competed pretty well with him.
Well, before we get to how the actually match went, we as a staff and really from Coach Steiner, we made a big push to get season tickets sold. You know, we wanted the fan support. You know, Coach has always said that this isn't his program, this isn't Fresno State's program, this is the Valley's program. So kind of talk about some of the efforts we did to kind of push and promote season ticket sales.
Well, one is just getting the word out of our schedule, you know, and I think our marketing people and our facilities people did an unbelievable job at that first match of really making it an event. But the marketing did a good job with getting the tickets sold. You know, we had a couple things that we had a team package that we put in place where a team can buy season tickets for up to 25 people and get season tickets for $500, which if you break it down, it averages out to about $3 a ticket. So it's a chance to bring out any high school, junior high, club team, you know, in to watch a Division I college match. And this area has been missing that for a long time, and that was one of the big pushes that we got out there. And then just the support from the community. You know, this is a wrestling community. Everyone knows that. This Valley is very rich in talent, and now we finally have a Division I college program here that people can come watch.
Now, before we really dive into November 17th and the match and kind of the emotions that we went through, let's take a break. Let's identify another one of our sponsors, the Downtown Club, located downtown Fresno, 2120 Kern, Fresno, California. If you're looking for an event or a place to, you know, have a wedding or a banquet, get a hold of the Downtown Club. You can get information at thedowntownclub.com. Phone number will be 559-375-1367. Let them know that Coach Steiner sent you. All right, Coach Steiner, let's talk about the emotions of that first match. November 17th came, Illinois is here, our guys are getting prepared. Kind of talk about the atmosphere and what you saw and, you know, how great the Valley was and they supported that event.
Yeah, it was an unbelievable atmosphere. You know, I told this to the team and you know as well that I've wrestled in bigger crowds before, you know, coming from the University of Iowa, but at times I've wrestled in bigger crowds, but never with that atmosphere. It was an unbelievable atmosphere that night. I think the people were just excited to have wrestling back, and they wanted to see it. And obviously, with the opponent we had with Illinois and Isaiah Martinez coming back, it was an unbelievable event. It was electric in the crowd, really.
Yeah, I think we had just under 7,000 fans in the event, and you know, I've never been part of a dual meet, you know, that caliber, and now, you know, it kind of sets the precedent for us that, hey, we gotta do more, we gotta get it bigger, and you know, the Valley wants more, you know, so we're gonna continue those efforts of making it an event, making it a show. And what I enjoyed the most was, you know, we had a couple kids from Lemoore in our lineup. Isaiah Martinez is from Lemoore, you know, and when they're announcing Sean Williams or Angel Solis, and you know, when they mention the hometown of Lemoore, you know, a couple hundred fans are cheering, you know, from that community. When we have other kids from the Valley, Clovis, Buchanan, it's the community really, and Madera, the community really, you know, embraced that they have somebody from their hometown, somebody from the Valley is, you know, on that stage representing. So it was a great event. Kind of highlight some of the guys that performed well at that event.
Well, I think you got to look at Christian Olivas, you know, Clovis grad, you know, came in and got the first win in 11 years for the Bulldogs, you know, and really lit up the crowd, and you know, the place went nuts when he got the first takedown, and then he ended up winning the match and against a very decent opponent. So that was a big win for the Bulldogs.
You know, I think Greg also, you know, had a great performance. Christian, the guy that he competed with, was an NCAA qualifier. I think he was ranked at the time, and Greg also went and knocked off a ranked opponent. So those guys, you know, back to back getting wins for us really energized the crowd, you know, and kind of talk about our heavyweight a little bit.
Yeah, and you know, we have AJ Neville's at heavyweight. You know, the Neville's family, they're all big guys. You know, we got his brother Nick is wrestling out of Penn State right now, and Seth is now in his campaign to win his 4th title here for Clovis High. Would be only the 3rd to win 3 or 4 titles here in California. So you know, we got one of the brothers here to stay home at Fresno, with AJ, and he came out in a match against an opponent that is ranked in the country right now, and came out in a hard-fought match, got taken down right away, got scored on, but came back and won the match, and it was a good way to end the night.
I think he gave up 2 takedowns, and he still came back and won. And that's AJ. You know, AJ will give up takedowns, will make mistakes, but he's going and trying to get points. You know, so we can't count him out. We know he's very gifted and talented and knows a lot of wrestling. So, you know, I don't panic too much when AJ gets taken down because I know his pace and his style of wrestling. He'll get those points back. So after that match, 7,000 fans, you know, we didn't know what we can do, but we ended up having a match down in San Diego on the USS MidWay on the top of the aircraft carrier, and another great event. You know, our guys are young, freshmen, but now they're used to wrestling in front of thousands of fans, and now we put them outside on an aircraft carrier and kind of talk about how that came into play.
Yeah, there again is another amazing event for us to start out this program. Left Coast Wrestling out of San Diego approached us last year and asked if we wanted to be a part of this event down on the deck of the Midway, and we jumped at the chance, and it was an incredible event. You know, I wish we could have given the fans a little bit more to cheer about with a win there, but you know, again, we have to learn from these situations and continue to move forward. But yeah, we'll be a part of it again this next year, and it was a neat event to have, you know, to really showcase our sport. Not only did we have a college match, we had 2 freestyle matches, 2 women's freestyle matches, and 2 Greco matches down there before the dual meet with Air Force.
And that one we had kind of USA Wrestling wrestlers versus international opponents. We had some Canadians and some wrestlers from Mexico that we flew in and had some international wrestling.
And all the USA wrestlers were California natives, so it was a pretty neat thing for the state of California.
And same thing in the Illinois match and the Air Force match on the Midway. Those 3 guys were kind of our bright spots again. Christian Olivas got the win, Greg Gaxiola, and AJ Neville. So those guys are kind of anchoring our team right now. Our other guys are working their way up and getting better, but those 2 or 3 guys are really anchoring our guys and showing the younger guys, you know, how to win and how to prepare. You know, and then from there, our schedule hasn't gotten easier. You know, we went competed in Las Vegas, and it was probably the toughest tournament in the country other than the national tournament. And, you know, our guys went out and tested themselves, and, you know, we've got room for improvement, but we came back after Las Vegas and we hosted Bakersfield, you know, and we didn't know what kind of crowd we'd expect. We went from 7,000 fans against Illinois, and now we've got a kind of a cross-valley rival, and kind of talk about what we saw with Bakersfield with the crowd and, you know.
Yeah, well, in the first duel we had, both matches were at the Save Mart Center, and all our matches will be at the Save Mart Center, but the first match we had the whole floor, the bottom bowl was opened up, and we kind of put the mat in the center of the floor, and this one we went into a different configuration where we kind of took half of the floor or a third of the floor, and kind of one end is where we closed it up to one end and got the people to come in there, a little closer atmosphere for the fans to be kind of on top of us, and we had close to 4,000 people at that event, so really a neat atmosphere again, and I think the marketing again did a good job of not losing the atmosphere that they had in the first match. Even though it was a little bit smaller crowd, they had the same type of atmosphere, and that was one thing that we wanted to make sure we didn't lose that atmosphere that we had in that first match. So came in against Bakersfield, a tough opponent, and we knew they were going to fight us tooth and nail, and they did. And that's, you know, we expect that from kids from this valley, and you know, they're just down in the southern part of the valley, but they're tough kids.
Yeah, well, we'd like to take another quick break. We'd like to also thank the Downtown Club. We're on location at the Downtown Club, 2120 Kern, Fresno, California, for all your events planning. If you're looking for a great location to host, check out the Downtown Club. Number is 559-375-1367. All right, let's so from Bakersfield, we were able to travel to the University of Minnesota, another story program. And that's kind of when Coach Steiner and I were talking last year. We didn't want to pad our schedule. We wanted to make sure we're setting a precedent right away with the kids, even though they're young. Hey, this is the schedule that we're going to go out and compete. We're going to find the best competition, wherever it is, Midwest, East Coast, California. We're going to go out and seek that competition. So we went out to Minnesota. Coach Steiner spent some time there coaching, and it was a good of a homecoming. We had a lot of fans, Fresno State fans. Coach Steiner's family was there. So talk a little bit about the Minnesota duel.
Yeah, it was a good thing to be a part of. I think, again, just we're going out against some of the top opponents, like you were saying, and our guys got to know that that's what we're getting ready for, and and that's the only thing that's going to prepare us for down the road for the Big 12 championships and the NCAAs, if we're seeing this type of opponent early and during the season, and because that's the only way you're going to prepare for them. Great team in Minnesota. They got a young group as well, but they have the tradition back behind them and the belief. And we went in there and didn't perform too bad. We had a couple wins, but some of our guys a little disappointed that we took a little bit of a back seat. But I think I expect that a little bit with a young group. That you're going to see some of that, and that's our job as coaches to get them not to do that.
Yeah, for me, it was awesome to be there. I've never been to University of Minnesota. I know it's a storied program, and I was a little frustrated, and I know Coach was. Just we expect our guys to fight a little harder, but I was also excited. Like with this team, we will return in 2 or 3 years, and we're excited to bring that team to Minnesota and show them how much we've improved, and we're ready to take them out. Year one after a 10-year absence of wrestling, our guys are going to know, hey, we can be there, and I'm excited just to continue the process and grow, and looking forward to 2, 3 years down the road, 4 years, and this team's going to be very salty, and we're not going to be afraid of anybody. So we just got back from Reno, this another tough tournament, and our guys were kind of able to compete a little better. They're trusting the process. Great group of kids, they've been taking their lumps. We've wrestled tough opponents, but Reno was kind of a little bit of a breakout tournament for all 10 of our starters, plus some of our guys that are redshirting, young guys. Kind of talk about some of the bright spots of Reno.
Yeah, no, what I liked about that is we got to see all of our guys compete in the same gym or same venue, and see them go against some good opponents. North Carolina State and Wyoming were there, and they're very, very strong programs right now. And Oklahoma State had most of their red shirts there, so it was a good, strong field. So really need to see that. I think some of our better performances, again, Christian Olivas had a good performance. It didn't look good his first match, got upset, and came back and ended up winning 5 matches in a row. AJ Nevels did similar kind of thing there, never took 5th because there's a rule in the NCAA where you can't have more than 6 matches a day. So he got to his 6-match count and had to pull out the tournament. So, but he was on his way to coming back in the consolation. So.
Well, one thing that I was proud of with Christian and AJ, is they did take bad losses that first round. And they didn't feel sorry for themselves. They didn't tank it in, and realize it was going to be a long day to wrestle all the way back. And both of them, strung 5 matches, 5 wins. So, in the national tournament that might happen, and you still got to have, that grit and fight to wrestle back and still become an All-American. Yeah. So that was a big step for both of them, and both of them are still pretty young. So for them to do that, I was proud of both of them.
Yeah, and then we had a guy like Chris DeLoza who has had some tough opponents, the true freshman out of Clovis North, and had some tough opponents early on, and it didn't change at Reno. He drew the number after the first match. He had the number 2 seed or 2 ranked guy in the country from North Carolina State, Kevin Jack, and went out there and wrestled him well for a good portion of the match, and then Jack got on top and kind of tilted him around a little bit. But he's seeing some of the better people in the country, so he knows where he's got to be, and he will make the adjustments. It's just a matter of time until he turns that corner.
No, I like Chris. Chris is always positive. He's upbeat, and he's another local kid, Clovis North product. And yeah, Chris has wrestled tough guys either in Vegas or Minnesota or Reno, and every time he steps off, he's always got his head up high, and he's upset at himself. And I was like, Chris, these guys you're wrestling, these number 2 ranked guy in the country, whatever ranked guy in the country, this is going to be you, another year down the road, 2 years down the road. And he believes it. So he's trusting the process, and he knows, I think Chris's biggest thing, and, he's got the attributes and knows the wrestling. He just has to gain strength, and that'll be our biggest focus with him this off season is really hit the weight room and all the stuff he knows how to do in wrestling. He'll have the strength to perform it against the best guys in the country who are, 20, 21, 22 years old. So Chris is awesome. He's a pleasure to have in the program. I enjoy being around him, and all our guys are like that. So it was fun. I think another one that didn't really surprise us, but, we were finally able to see him do well and kind of channel into the stuff that we saw was Robert Garcia from Selma.
Yeah, no, Robert had a great tournament. Again, first match had a guy out from Wyoming. Wyoming's
starter, yeah.
25, and I was leading most of the match and kind of got into a position he shouldn't have been in. And we knew he shouldn't be in that area with the guy, and he got hip tossed and thrown to his back and pinned, and then he fought back and wrestled 4 matches and met the guy again, and ended up beating him the second time around. So it was a nice comeback from him, and really showed some grit and some toughness there mentally to come back and get to see that guy again.
Oh, what I like about Robert is he's a very intelligent wrestler, makes adjustments, so he avoided that position with the Wyoming kid. He wasn't hanging out upstairs and able to get tossed again and made the adjustment. So Robert did an awesome job. All our guys did a great job, and it was great to see, everyone get some wins and kind of believe in our training and our philosophy and grow. And, right now they got a little break. We'll be back December 26th, they get a time to kind of go back to their high schools, give back a little bit, get a little break from us. We get a break from them, which is needed. We've been with them since the preseason, but yeah, it was fun. And that kind of recaps the first part of the year. We'll get back to you guys as we get to the second semester of the year. Like, again, we'd like to thank Glepler Digital Media for providing this podcast and helping us get the word out with Fresno State Wrestling and the ValleyRTC. All right, we're back. We've pretty much covered Fresno State wrestling, and another thing that we're passionate about that we knew was very important to build alongside with the Fresno State wrestling program was the Valley Regional Training Center. Coach, kind of talk about what it is.
Yeah, and a lot of people they don't quite know what it involves. And the Valley Regional Training Center is really an Olympic development piece for USA Wrestling, and it's a situation where we can have this regional training center here based out of Fresno State, and we can work with kids anywhere from a cadet level, which is 8th, 9th grade, all the way up through high school, through college, and really work with our senior level athletes that are looking to make a world and Olympic team. And it's a win-win situation because we have right now we have 6 guys here at the senior level that are training here at the Valley Regional Training Center that can be around the Fresno State program. It's a win-win situation for both of us because the athletes get a place to train, they get structured training environment, and for our athletes to be able to work with these senior level guys that have already been through the college scene, and they can just jump on their coattails and really be mentored by these guys.
Yeah, and we knew to have a successful Division I program, the Valley Regional Training Center and the Regional Training Center was very important. If you look at the top programs in the country, Penn State has won multiple national titles. They have the Nittany Lion Wrestling Club. Iowa, they have the Hawkeye Wrestling Club. So we knew in order to compete at that level, and that's the level that we want to compete at, the ValleyRTC was very, very important. So we almost spent just as much time recruiting the senior level athletes to move to Fresno and have that be their home base, just as much time as we recruited, the Fresno State high school athletes to come and be part of Fresno State. Let's run through a little bit of who we have on campus here at Fresno State, part of the ValleyRTC.
So we have two of the athletes are on staff with us here as assistant coaches. Jason Chamberlain, who is out of Utah, wrestled at Boise State, was a national finalist for Boise State, and now is training to make a world team. He's competing at 70 kilos and is really right in the hunt to make this a U.S. world team.
I think Jason, since he's been out of college, he's wrestled in 2 Olympic trials. He's been in every world team trial. So I think Jason just needed a little bit more structured training, which Coach and I would provide, and he's ready to make that next jump and make a U.S. world team.
Yeah, he's right in the mix. There's no doubt about it. And then we have Joe Cologne, who is an All-American out of Northern Iowa, and has been as high as number 2 on the U.S. ladder for the world team. And just had a huge tournament he competes at 57 kilo, or 61 kilo now. And he just had a huge tournament at the Dave Schultz Invitational, and with two big wins.
Yeah, knocked off Nashawn Garrett, kid from Cornell, NCAA champ. He's from Chico. Beat him in the finals, beat him by 10 points, and then he wrestled in the semifinals Tony Ramos, who's University of Iowa NCAA champ and two-time world team member, and Joe, knocked him off, beating him by tech fall. So Joe really, he's been on the scene, but he kind of had a breakout performance, and now guys are really looking at him he might be the guy at 61 kilo to make our world team.
Yeah, and along with him, another guy we got here is Anthony Avedon, who is he wrestled at Nebraska and out of the state of New York, and we got him to come to the left coast instead of staying on the right coast over there, and came out to Fresno and is really a talented athlete that I think is going to make a jump here.
No, Anthony's good. He brings great energy. He fell short of becoming an All-American, was lost twice in the round of 12, the match to be an All-American. So he's hungry, he's eager, and every day he brings it, and when he's done competing, he's going to be a great coach. We already see it with our college guys. He kind of takes them under their wing and develops them, and the guys really relate to him. So Anthony's awesome to have in the room.
Yes, we have along with those three, then we have Nico Reyes, who's a Clovis West grad, went on to compete at the University of Illinois, and now is back here in Clovis, and he's competing at 92 kilos, and he qualified for the World Team Trial last year.
4th at the U.S. Open.
4th at the U.S. Open, so I think he's going to be right in the hunt there at 92 kilos as well.
Yeah, and another guy that we have is, a guy that kind of was the first one that bought into what we were doing at Fresno State as far as ValleyRTC athletes are concerned. But Blaze Cabell, he's from University of Northern Iowa. He wrestled heavyweight. He's wrestling 97 kilos, and he's qualified for the Olympic trials and World Team trials. But same thing at the Dave Schultz about 6 weeks ago. He had a great performance.
Yeah, no, he in the semifinals. He had the Russian world champ and was trailing down by a few points, and the inside tripped him to his back and pinned the Russian world champ. So yeah,
it kind of shocked the world.
Kind of shocked everyone, including himself probably a little bit. But a very talented guy, and we look for big things from him. But those are 5 guys that we have, and then we have one of the Canadian 74 kilo wrestler, Jasmine Polka. He's down here. He comes down he's about 2 to 3 weeks a month, and he's with us, and it's nice to get a little international flavor in the room as well.
No, we know it's big to have that freestyle component part of our program, and we look to host national team training camps throughout the year and bring USA Wrestling and international competitors to Fresno for training camps. One, it helps our RTC athletes, but our Fresno State athletes kind of see it and get to wrestle with guys that are on the world scene, and they have success. So now it translates into collegiate success. So that's why we feel it's so important to have that freestyle component part of our program.
Yeah, when you're working with guys that are a notch higher than you, it's just going to bring you up to that level. So that's an important piece. And some of our guys have the aspiration as well, after they're done with the college scene, to go on and do the same, try to make a world and Olympic team. So we want to make this a kind of a one-stop shop in Fresno, where they can come through the ValleyRTC, come be a Bulldog, and then stick with the RTC to make a world team.
Yeah, we'd definitely like for a kid to come through high school from the Valley, to come through and become All-American national champ and train full-time and bring a world and Olympic medal back to the Valley. So that's kind of what our aspirations are, and we want to find kids that have those same dreams.
Yeah, no, that's what it's about, is helping these guys in their dream and just help guide them down the road.
So last week we sent our guys to the Olympic Training Center, all our ValleyRTC guys. They were part of USA Wrestling's national team training camp, and while they were there, they were also, 4 of our athletes were selected to go on international tours overseas and kind of talk about where they're going.
Yeah, so we have Jason Chamberlain and Joe Cologne will be going to
Russia.
Yeah, what's the
Urigan.
The Urigan tournament in that's in, what's the name? I can't think of the name of that.
It's far Siberia, Russia. So they're going to be traveling for over a day to get there. I think it's Krasnoyarsk. Yeah, Krasnoyarsk, Russia. So look it up. It's far.
Tournaments in the world, and they're going over there at the end of January, early February, and then boys Cabell and Anthony Abden will be going to the Ukraine tournament in February,
yep.
end of February. So they got some big competitions coming ahead. We got about 6 weeks to get these guys ready for that as well. So it's we're in full swing here in Fresno.
Well, what's great about that is these guys are training to go to Russia, go to Ukraine, and they're going to use the Fresno State athletes as their training partners. So their toughness, their vision and their focus is going to rub off on our young guys. And that's what we look forward to. That's why, we spend a lot of our time fundraising for these ValleyRTC guys to have that living stipend and train here in Fresno full time, because it'll translate to Fresno State wrestling wins, having these top level RTC guys here in Fresno.
Yeah, and part of having the ValleyRTC Regional Training Center, we call it RTC, but part of having this is, we provide stipends for these guys to live, so they can really focus in on their training. And by no means are these guys, getting rich and all that, but they are able to support themselves and pay some of the bills so they can put their focus on the training. And we're always looking for involvement there, and people want to get involved. You go to the ValleyRTC or ValleyRTC.com. There's ways to get involved there, and then you can also contact us as well. Yeah,
our information's on GoBulldogs.com. If you want us to come out and speak to your companies or come out and do some community service, we're always looking for opportunities to get out in the community. So feel free to call us and get us involved. We're here for the Valley, and we want people to come back and support us.
And that's one of the reasons we named it, instead of calling it the Bulldog Regional Training Center, we call it the Valley, because this program is the Valley's program, and we want to help everyone in this Valley reach their goals. And we've had some kids that are going off to other colleges, but they can still come into the RTC, and that's part of our vision, is we're gonna help this Valley grow and develop, and we know that's only going to benefit us down the road as well.
Well, I think that's pretty good for episode 1 of the ValleyRTC. It's we're getting a little bit better at it, and we'll continue to spread the word. Some upcoming events that we have a winter training camp going on. So any youth wrestlers up to high school wrestlers that want to come train, it's December 27th through the 29th. You can find more information on SteinerWrestlingCamps.com. Come out, bring your kids, and we'll help them, we'll develop them, and help them get better.
Yeah, we'll go 2 sessions a day. We'll go 10 to 12 and 1 to 3, and just really, see if we can help them a little bit on their break here.
Yeah, I'd like to, personally thank Klepler Digital Media, for providing this podcast and helping us, and kind of molding us onto podcast people. And then also the Downtown Club for letting us have our podcast here. So if you're looking to host an event, go to the downtownclub.com and let them know Coach Steiner sent you.
All right, and our next home match for the Bulldogs is January 4th against Cal Poly. So we look forward to seeing you out there and with that red, white, and blue on.